welcome to FreightFM episode 8 with Interlog USA. My name is Rachel. I work with the marketing team here and also one of the hosts at the podcast. Today's episode, I'm really going to focus on what's been happening the last few weeks with all the GRIs, the blank sailings, and get into slow steaming as well. So I'm sure many of you are aware of the GRIs that have been talked about the last few weeks. What's really happening with that is carriers are trying to get that spot market back up to their desired contract rate. And so they are taking different actions to try to manipulate the market to get those rates up. And so with all the GRIs, that was one way. It has been kind of fallen apart, as we all have seen the last few weeks. But what else is happening is blank sailings have increased and there has been slow steaming. So before we get into it, I did want to just go through what to be aware of, especially with all these increases in blank sailings, is if you are someone that did sign a contract with a carrier or are planning to, it is good to be aware of all these blank sailings that are happening because you still are vulnerable to them. And so if your carrier that you sign a contract with has a blank sailing, do you have backup? Do you have other options to keep your stuff moving? So those are good conversations to have with forwarders. Ask them, hey, what is your options here? How can you get me on the next available vessel, regardless of the carrier, just to make sure my transit time requirements are being met. And so it is also good to make sure the forwarder you are working with has those options as well. If a forwarder does only work with one carrier, they might be getting you temporarily really low rates. However, what happens when there's a blank sailing? Do you have that backup plan? So those are conversations, especially right now with what we're seeing in the market, to be aware of, to be mindful of. Don't tie yourself to one carrier, one forwarder that works with one carrier. Make sure that you have options out there. So to get into kind of what's happening with the blank sailings, I'm going to pull up a sheet just to give you a quick visual of how many blank sailings have been happening. A quick side note before I pull it up is we do offer different newsletters depending on what you're looking for. And so if you're not already signed up for our Competitive Edge newsletter, we do put an update on blank sailings in there each week. So if this is something that you want to have as a consistent update week after week, sign up, reach out to us. We'll get you on that email list. But I will pull it up here. As you can see, it is color coded: green on schedule, red canceled, yellow pending, orange delayed. So as you can see, Qingdao Hong Kong has quite a bit of red. We have seen a little bit more increase in blank sailings happening. And then Malaysia as well, there's a few in there too. So you can see the timeline. This is from 4/11 to 5/1. So there's quite a bit that have increased from last week, even from Hong Kong. So this is something that we put on the newsletter. We put other ports as well on here. So it is a good thing to remember that these are, they do have a big impact, but also to keep in mind about slow steaming. So slow steaming is vessels are going slower. They use less fuel, it costs them less, but the big impact is it's delaying transit time, which has a big impact on capacity in the market. So when a vessel used to go 15 days transit time, but now they're going 18 days due to slow steaming, that has a huge impact on rotation. And it also has a huge impact on the percentage of capacity out of the market slowly, just by going slower. So it is something to make sure you're aware of. It is happening. We saw it in the pandemic for different reasons. When ports were congested, backed up, we did see slow steaming to try to eliminate that amount of wait time at the ports. But now we're seeing it here, and we are seeing it increase transit time. So it is something to make sure you're having conversations about with your forwarder as well. And kind of any of this information that I just went over, if you want a more in-depth conversation, maybe specifically on your situation and what you're seeing, we'd be happy to have that. Please reach out to us. You can email myself directly at rachel@interlogusa.com. Otherwise, you can reach out to us at our sales email at sales@interlogusa.com, and we'll connect you with one of our experts. But Thank you guys for joining. And we'll see you next time.